y'all hate it when it's Father's Day and the single mother likes to take these gift cards and cross out Father's Day and put their name there? That's what's going on a lot of times when it comes to Father's Day. And I witnessed this myself, going out with a single mother. And the children would come home from school and they would make Father's Day greeting cards. And then when the daughter would bring it, the mother would come out and say, "Oh, thank you for this greeting card," and then rubs it out, use a big black marker and rub out the Father's Day and put Single Mother's Day and put her name there. Did you know that there is already a Single Parent Single Mother's Day, and that's March 21st? Now, when I went to school, they never really promoted this in the 90s and the millennials, but I'm sure probably now that, single parents are such a large demographic now. If you look in the black family, 80% are single mothers. Whites, 30 to 40%. Hispanics, 40%. And for Canadian mothers, it would be 30% single parent. And then with Asians, they have the lowest at 10 to 15% single mothers. So this is a growing trend. So I don't know why these single mothers have to hijack Father's Day just to prove a point when they already have March 21st. But I think it's because of the school system and, this social media has not really promoted this date. So they use Single Father's Day hijack to promote their progress. So now, why is this happening? Why don't we just let the active fathers just have their day in peace? Why do we need a lot of these women hijacking and, making these posts on Facebook that, a lot of these fathers are not doing? There are a lot of fathers who are actually being fathers. And there's a lot of fathers that would like to be fathers, but because of the government, the judgemen, and policemen, that they are kept out of their house for various reasons. They have child alienation that a lot of these women are using as a weapon to keep these men out of these relationships. See, back before 1965, it was very low that you would have single mothers. But after 1965, the trimenity, which I call the government, the judgemen, and the policemen, are now being used as a weapon to keep men out of the house. And that number of single mothers skyrocketed from 15% all the way up to 70-80%. Not much has changed. Not a lot of widows. There's not an increased number of widows. There's not an increased number of abusive men. What has changed is the feminism and what has come with feminism and the laws that were brought into place. Because if you look at it, even now, if you go to the maternity ward right now, 50% of the women in the maternity ward are unwed. That means within the last 9 months, they already knew that the guy that impregnated them was not going to be a father. A lot of them picked these Pookie and Ray Rays, and then after they get pregnant, they got it backwards. They get pregnant, they go and look for the husband to take care of their children, and then the husband will propose to them to get married and then take care of the family. It's all backwards. Back in the old days, the guy would go for the woman, the guy would propose, and after proposition, and get married, then they would have a child, and then they would have a family. It's all backwards now. And that's because we have a lot of rules in place protecting this and promoting this. So this Single Parents Day, March 21st, it started in 1985. Ronald Reagan wrote this proclamation because they knew after these 15 years of policies starting from 1965 They knew of a growing trend of divorces, no fault divorce. They knew that there was going to be a growing trend of these single unwed mothers. So they decided that they were going to bring in this policy. But you see, that's the reason why there's no longer this stigma of single mothers. Because when you look at the stats, Africa has the largest percentage of single mothers, but has the lowest percentage of single parent households. But America, although its numbers of single mothers is, moderate, they have the highest number of single parent households. And that's because of all these policies that have kept the men out. Because if you look at Africa, even though they have the highest incidence of single mothers, it's because of culture and the laws that they have that allows men to have more than one wife, and also that man is required to take care of the wife and the children. And also their culture promotes polygamy and taking care of multiple children and wives. And they live happily ever after. But not here in America. You got all these rules that try to alienate the father out of the house and different weapons to keep him out. And then if you want to see your children, then you have to pay the court for visitation rights. You see all of these backward laws that are trying to keep the men out. So to make it much worse. So you can no longer blame, divorces and men walking out on their children back in 1965. No, all of this large increase is because of these laws that were instituted after 1965 that caused such a large amount of single mothers. So, you got child support, alimony, spousal support, you got visitation rights, all of these different laws to keep them apart. Anyways, guys, if you have any comments, any things you'd like to say, leave them down below. This one from YouTube. Bye-bye.